Have you ever worked for a boss who is a bit of a fool? You know the type, or noise and no toga? Well, it's year 258, 60 years before Constantine converts to Christianity, and a difficult time for many Christians in Rome. It's even more difficult because Valerian is emperor. He is the boss, and yes, he is an imbecile. Do you know what he is famous for? He did something that no other emperor in history managed. He was captured in battle. The Persian king Sapor defeated him in the year 260 and kept him locked up for the rest of his life. He was the only emperor to ever suffer this misfortune, and famously, King Sapor used to use Valerian's neck as a foot support every time he mounted his horse. Imagine that. However, for me, this downfall didn't come soon enough. You see, I arrived in 257 with Sixtus, a fine man who eventually became the Bishop of Rome, Pope Sixtus II. He ordained me as chief of the 7 deacons in Rome at that time and charged me with caring for the church's precious vessels and vestments. Essentially, I was the world's first archivist, which is why I am now the patron saint of librarians, amongst other things, that is. Then August 258 came, and Valerian ordered the persecution of all Christians in Rome. It was a tragic time, but such things were commonplace in Rome at that time. Many ordinary Christians were exiled, their possessions confiscated, and even more were put to death. My dear Bishop Sixtus was one of them. He was tortured, then beheaded. Why? Because he refused to hand over the church's wealth to the emperor. And so the emperor asked me, what would you do? Any ideas? Well, the emperor agreed to give me 3 days to gather it all in. But I spent that time giving it to the poor people of the city. I was the man in charge of the poor and needy after all. As agreed, Valerian waited, and when he summoned me, I presented him with all the people that I had helped. I explained that a church's wealth is not measured in gold or silver or precious jewels, but by its people. They are the true treasures we should value. Unfortunately, Emperor Valerian was not the enlightened fellow I hoped for, and he had me put to death. It was not a quick death, like my friend Sixtus, but a slow and painful one, held over fire on a gridiron, of all things. It was a little like being cooked in a giant waffle maker. What an end! But that wasn't the end, was it? No, I managed something else. With the mob assembled and the fire licking my bones, I looked over to the executioner and said, "This side is done. Turn me over and take a bite." The crowd loved that. And that's why I am also the patron saint of comedians as well. But more importantly, thanks to the strength I was able to muster, many onlookers watched and found the strength in themselves to join Christianity. And as Valerian faded away in a Persian jail, Christianity grew stronger and stronger, meaning all that pain and suffering helped pave the way for something far, far greater.